If you want the shows that define 2025, series that push boundaries, spark conversations, and keep you hooked from the first minute, this list has the 10 you simply can't miss. From brutal historical battles to futuristic nightmares, from psychological mind games to the epic final chapter of a global phenomenon, these shows are shaping the year's biggest trends. Here are the must-watch series of 2025, each one unforgettable.
Fire watches.
At number 10, we have Smoke, created by Dennis Lehane. Smoke is a tense, slow-burn crime drama built around a central twist that hits from the very beginning. The series follows a damaged arson investigator assigned to capture a serial firestarter terrorizing the city. But the shocking truth, revealed early and explored throughout, is that the investigator himself is one of the criminals he is hunting. This internal conflict fuels a gripping dual narrative. On one hand, he must help the police solve the case alongside a sharp, intuitive detective. On the other, he struggles to hide his own dangerous urges and prevent himself from spiraling out of control. The show mixes the mechanics of a procedural investigation with an intimate psychological portrait of a man fighting himself. Themes like the allure of destruction, moral conflict, and the thin line between justice and obsession drive the story forward. With an IMDb rating of 6.7, you can stream Smoke on Apple TV+. At number 9, we have Robin Hood. This gritty retelling, co-created by John Glenn and Jonathan English, reimagines the legendary outlaw with far more realism and historical weight. Instead of leaning into folklore, the series focuses on Rob Locksley, the son of a humble Saxon forester whose life is shattered by the cruel Norman occupation. Forced into exile in Sherwood Forest, he reinvents himself as a strategic, battle-hardened leader. He organizes a rebellion against corrupt elites, all while navigating a forbidden romance with a woman trapped within the enemy's inner circle. The show removes the fairy tale gloss, replacing it with raw depictions of medieval warfare, political oppression, and socioeconomic struggle. It blends large-scale action with personal tragedy, showing how a broken man becomes a symbol of resistance. With an IMDb rating of 6.2, it is available on MGM+.
This beacon is a weapon.
At number 8, we have The Mighty Nein. Based on the beloved Critical Role campaign, The Mighty Nein is an emotionally layered animated fantasy series set in a world edging toward all-out war. The story centers on a dysfunctional group of outsiders who steal a powerful magical artifact entirely by accident, pulling them into a conflict much bigger than themselves. What makes the series special is its focus on flawed, morally ambiguous characters. Heroes who lie, panic, make selfish choices, and are constantly running from their own pasts. Yet they're forced to step up when the fate of nations hangs in the balance. The show blends sharp humor with political drama, intense magic battles, and surprising emotional depth. It has earned an impressive IMDb rating of 8.8 and is streaming on Prime Video. At number 7, we have Alien Earth. Created by Noah Hawley, this series expands the iconic franchise with a grounded, terrifying prequel set 30 years before the original film. Taking place on Earth in 2120, the story begins with a crashed deep space vessel that triggers a series of horrifying discoveries. A mix of military forces, corporate agents, and a synthetic human hybrid must work together, often reluctantly, to contain a creature that evolves faster than they can respond. The show explores themes of corporate greed, artificial intelligence, and humanity's arrogance in the face of something completely unmanageable. It captures the claustrophobic fear of the original Alien films, but brings the danger home to a world unprepared for such a threat. With an IMDb score of 7.2, you can watch it on Hulu. At number 6, we have Countdown. From creator Derek Haas comes a fast-paced action thriller designed to keep your pulse racing. The plot begins with the shocking murder of a Department of Homeland Security officer in broad daylight. This act sets off a nationwide operation, forming a covert task force that includes an undercover LAPD detective, federal agents, and intelligence specialists. What appears to be a simple homicide spirals into a conspiracy involving hidden nuclear weapons and powerful individuals embedded deep within the government. Countdown excels in timing and momentum. Each episode moves like a ticking bomb, packed with undercover missions, political twists, and explosive confrontations. The series aims to keep tension high from start to finish. It holds an IMDb rating of 6.9 and is streaming on Prime Video.
11 a capture, 18 still missing.
At number 5, we have The Last Frontier. Created by John Bokenkamp and Richard DeVidio, this survival thriller places viewers in the harsh, unforgiving wilderness of Alaska. A U.S. Marshal tasked with overseeing a remote region suddenly faces chaos when a prison transport plane crashes nearby. Several dangerous prisoners escape into the icy wilderness, including one extremely valuable rogue asset whose capture could expose buried government secrets. As the Marshal begins the manhunt, he uncovers clues suggesting that the crash was not an accident at all. The Alaskan landscape acts almost like its own antagonist, cold, isolating, and relentless. With an IMDb rating of 6.8, you can stream The Last Frontier on Apple TV+. At number 4, we have King and Conqueror, created by Michael Robert Johnson. This historical epic rewinds to the year 1066, leading up to the Battle of Hastings. The story focuses on Harold Godwin's son and William, Duke of Normandy, two men who were once allies but are drawn into a tragic conflict through political betrayal, ambition, and shifting loyalties. Rather than simply retelling history, the series highlights the emotional and psychological weight of what it means to lead armies and decide the fate of nations. It brings a Shakespearean sense of tragedy to the battlefield, showing how destiny can turn friends into enemies. With an IMDb rating of 5.8, the series is available on Prime Video.
I had a rough few years.
At number 3, we have The Beast in Me. Gabe Rodder's a psychological mystery thriller explores manipulation, obsession, and the fragile nature of truth. The story follows a grieving novelist who isolates herself in a remote area to write her next book. There, she becomes drawn to her wealthy, mysterious neighbor, a man surrounded by whispers about his wife's suspicious death. He convinces her to write his biography, and as she delves deeper into his life, she becomes entangled in a psychological trap where every revelation blurs the boundary between charm and danger. The show uses gothic elements, gaslighting, and escalating paranoia to create a consistently unsettling tone. With an IMDb score of 7.5, you can watch it on Netflix.
We will figure out what makes you different.
At number 2, we have Pluribus, created by Vince Gilligan. Pluribus is a haunting, philosophical sci-fi drama set in a world where a mysterious virus has connected nearly all humans into one collective mind. Crime disappears, war ends, and conflict fades because everyone shares thoughts, emotions, and intentions. But a small group of people, immune to the virus, remain disconnected from this universal consciousness. These lonely ones must navigate a society where individuality is viewed as a sickness. The show raises profound questions about identity, autonomy, loneliness, and whether peace without privacy is truly peace. With an IMDb rating of 8.5, the series is streaming on Apple TV+.
Boom.
And at number 1, we have Stranger Things Season 5. The final showdown created by the Duffer Brothers comes with enormous expectations, and it delivers. After the catastrophic events in Hawkins, the world stands on the brink of collapse. The Upside Down has begun merging with reality, the military has locked down the town, and Vecna's influence is stronger than ever. The original group of friends reunites for one last battle, balancing heartbreaking farewells with massive, cinematic action sequences. The season honors the nostalgic heart of the series while raising the stakes to apocalyptic levels. With an IMDb score of 8.6, the final season is available on Netflix. These 10 shows showcase the very best storytelling of 2025. Whether you prefer intense action, deep emotional drama, historical warfare, or mind-bending sci-fi, this list ensures you won't run out of great content anytime soon. Happy binge watching.